Morning. Me and Nick are out in the big woods today. No marsh, all big woods today. I don't know, we're a little bit in the woods now from the trucks, but points in the woods and bowls are very important, just like the marsh. We're on a point on the north side of a point here, and you can see how it's clear that way, going up that way to the point, and there's a cruising trail coming up to the point. And then you can see how thick. There's a little bit of doe bedding to Nick's right there on the tip of the point. I was actually in here last year and scouted this, but wanted to see what was going on here this past season, so here we are. So there's a dead trail, big trails going into this point right here, like Nick's showing to you. And we'll be right back. We'll come to the other side and I'll show you what's going on the other side too. Now we're on the tip of the point now. I'll take you over to the other side of the point in a minute. But in my opinion, from what me and Nick have seen with what's going on with these points in these big woods settings, is most of these points are doe bedding, because what happens is the scent's not collecting here. They have their eyes and numbers to keep an eye out for each other. The bowls are, to me, is what is going on where the bucks are hanging, because all the scent's collecting in the bowls. It's usually lower, where these points are a higher area, where briar patches and all, and there's a lot of cover up in here. And the does are usually bedding up in here. And I'm just saying, that's my experience in the last couple of years, what's going on. And when you go in here, you can see the real small almond-shaped beds. I'm not going to go in there, but the larger beds for the mama deer, the real small ones, and every bed is facing one side or out in front or even behind the point of the thick spot. So keep that in mind. Good. We're on the other side of this point now, and if Nick pans around in a minute, the elevation is going higher and higher the more west you get. So what's going to happen is, down in this bowl behind me here, all the scent's going to filter down like water is through a funnel, or water in whatever you call it, a funnel. Yeah, it's going to filter down into here. And there's a creek here, there's water here, everything is drawing right here. The doe bedding is to the right of us, and you got a hill over here. And last year when I was in here, there was buck beds up on top of this hill, so they could keep an eye on these does on this point, if does are bedding on this point, of this thick point over here. And we'll check that again in a minute, so stay tuned. Now we came from that way, there's rubs all through there. I'll show you guys in a minute. Come down this thing, and this is the bowl. The end of the bowl's right here. This, whatever this deer's doing, he's coming up in here and bedding on these high spots. These high humps on the end of this bowl. There's humps in here, I'll show you in a minute. He's bedding on probably different ones every different wind or something. But he's coming up in here through this transition, down this thicket, and he's keeping an eye on does during the rut and everything else. And behind him, nothing could get to him without him seeing or smelling. It's almost bulletproof here. It's going to be tough to hunt, but we'll have to figure out the thermals that are going to suck right down into here, because it's all low down here. As you can see, there's a bed up in here, and then it's surrounded by a wall of briars, and there's just a little opening where all the scent's going to come down and filter in here. There's a bed on top of that, a bed on top of that, and it might be a couple bucks. There's a bed over there on that dead tree under that too. There's beds all through here, really. It's another small area with a lot of beds. Great area, and all your thermals are collecting. This water stays warm, so everything sucks to it, because it's kind of out in the open air. There's no pines to keep the shade down, so I'll go up on this one transition and show you all these big rubs. Now where I'm at. We were just down in there. That's where them beds were, down in that thick stuff all through there. But this is the bowl. We're down the end of the bowl. As you can see, it starts going up. Everything collects here from all sides. I can actually feel the wind in my face now. Giant rubs in here. There's a decent rub. There's a absolute beauty come around the other side. I mean, that tree's that much around. And up here, there's an absolute, two absolute disgusting rubs. They're so big. And trails coming right down through here. And these trees have been rubbed every year, every single year. There's one here, and that's rounder than my leg. He's being rubbed on. And it's been rubbed on every year. That's why that scar's there. And there's one more. Here's another rub that actually killed the tree. And here's another one that just absolutely mashed every year. And there's a lot of little rubs in here too. So sit tight. This is shit you gotta go through, man, that other guys don't want to go through. Almost knee deep. Just take your time, and when you step, don't step real hard and it won't go over your boots. Just drag your foot almost and be careful. But this is the stuff you gotta get out into, where the big ones, they go out into this stuff where the islands is. If Nick will show, there's a little island right there. With the pressure on, that's where they'll bed. A lot of pressure. We're gonna bed on that little island out there in the middle of this. I mean, look at my knees, almost knee-deep water. It's where you gotta get to when there's high pressure on, gun season, high hunter density states. These little islands out in the middle of this mess out here. It's just what you gotta do, man. Y'all. Another thing to watch out for when you're in all this water. See this over here, Nick can pan in and you can see it. It's a real big hill with trees on it. That's another one. These deer, Nick will pan around that way. There's water as far as you can see. These deer will get up on top of these hills and just watch. And they can hear, everything's collecting here because it's the lowest point in the woods. All your scents collecting here, thermals, everything. And it's warm in the winter up on there. They're not laying in the water, which deer can get hypothermia too. Now he's coming along this high ground, which Nick is showing you where it's tore up with prints going up to this little knob of hill right here. But if you go beyond that, it's a huge briar patch, which I think it's called, the bush in there, I believe it's called, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard it called spice bush. And so they say, and so I've read, and so I've heard, it keeps the mosquitoes away. It's like a natural bug deterrent or something. So I've read a lot of that on forums that's good early season. They like to bed in that kind of stuff early season, and it grows in the water. Or just off of the water. Nick pans around like he did earlier. There's water everywhere. I'm on a hill. These deer can sit up here in late season and after the leaves drop and see for long ways, man. They see anything or hear anything, you can't get through this water without any sound. They see or hear anything, they're gone. All right, we're surrounded by water right now. Surrounded by it, as we just seen earlier, walking through it, knee-deep water. If you pan out that way, it's a little open, but this is a little point in this thicket right here, and there's a bed, single bed here. Not that I would hunt it, but it's a single bed here. But it's winds in the face. Everything's collecting. Water surrounds, And it just goes to show you, you got to get in, get dirty, get wet, and go look for these beds to get out. There's fresh shit everywhere in here. Fresh poop, excuse me. You got to get out and find out where these deer are coming from. Not where they're going, where they're coming from. The key is, to me, is if you find out where these deer are coming from, you can have a better odds of getting a mature animal under you or in front of you during daylight hours. I'm done doing that with the odds of field edges, food plots. I'm talking public properties, not private ranches and all that. These public properties and public land, you got to get close to where they're sleeping at, man. There's a rub right there. Right there. Rub right there. And in my opinion, just by hunting, and I'm sure Nick will agree with me, if you don't get within 100 yards of these mature buck beds, you're hunting deer. So I'm sure Nick will agree with me. He's seen this year too.
Yep.
So stay tuned. Good rub there. That's big boy there. That's waist high to the middle. Middle of the rub, wherever it is. Knee high or below the middle would be probably 2.5 or younger. It's probably.
You can kind of see the rub line from before when he hit it when he was younger.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. You're right. That's middle of the rub. He's hitting all the way up here and in the back too. Good buck. And then he's got Nick Pans over there. He's got more rubs over there. The whole rub line going that way. If you can, I'll walk over there. Okay. Coming right out of this stuff. Right out of by water. One here. One here. Four up. That's die high. Look at him. Well, we come across this guy. I'll tell you what, he's brave. Look at him shaking that tail, dude. He went right on that hole.